Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Tales of Arise. Today we're on Lenegis, and we're probably going to cause a huge ruckus when we go through this door. We'll find out today though. Nothing over there. Nothing over there. I'm assuming this barrier is here, or else we'd be blown into space, or sucked into space, or actually just die because there's no oxygen. Yeah, I thought Lenegis was a moon this entire time. I guess technically it is a moon. Oh look! Renans to destroy. Something tells me we're not going to be doing that though, because we're heroes. Lenegis! I'm glad to see it's a wreck here though. Makes me feel a little bit better.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
Oh, you mean when it transformed to do the wedge thing?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Maybe
Chronos!
when they sent the
Sorry.
wedge down to Dahna?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes,
Have you met the Renans? Bunch of
I think the
assholes.
citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Hello. Who are you?
Avakir. I'm glad
Avakir?
to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dahna participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dahna then?
Heard what?
We killed all the lords except
Someone
this
you
one.
know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
And if you don't
Forbidden
tell
Zone?
us, I will peel your
What
skin
business
off.
could you possibly have there?
That's
Trust
not
me.
the right
The
answer,
less
dog.
you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to
Shionne,
find the way
give
there
him a high
ourselves.
five.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
Is this the lady that freaked
I
out
can
when
well imagine.
Dohalim defended himself?
Why did you come back?
To kill everyone.
You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Doe?
Doe, a deer? A female deer? Or dough as in Homer Simpson? Or Play-Doh? Or bread dough?
So who's Faria?
Law?
God, Jesus Christ, Law.
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dahna.
They
Okay.
seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman too.
Yeah, I'm pretty
And don't
sure
forget
they're not
about
going to know
finding
what
the
that
way to
means.
The Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shionne. We can't have a bunch of Dahnans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
Okay.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two.
All right, sure.
The Dahnans among us should probably keep our heads down.
Yeah, one second. I will do that in a second.
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
To them we are. That's why they'll die. There you go, Shionne. You get to be the leader.
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions.
So, like,
to
the people in
answer.
charge of
How
Rena,
it looks. They must be
you
cycling
know,
off
the
astral
lords
energy
or
from Dahna,
sovereigns or
and then
whatever.
sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
Right, we need to destroy Lenegis,
He's
right?
We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we
Like a
waiting
self-destruct
for?
button.
Let's get moving.
You heard it.
Oh,
We
can
don't
we
have to
crash
stop
Lenegis
yet.
down on Rena?
Let's move.
Chronos, what about all the people? Man, Renans really should have thought about all that before they started this shit.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
Probably
What
not.
do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration. To
Maybe
avoid
these
all
are
this
low-born
chaos.
Renans.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry, that probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shionne. I'm sure we will.
Anything else? No. Hello. Yeah, it is falling apart, isn't it? Hey, do you guys have like an inn here or a map action? You do have a map action. I'm assuming that's healing. Do we want to heal them though? Oh, maybe we could have like, it's a map action to grow plants inside of them and then they'll burst. Also, like, have you guys been standing around here this entire time? So we want to heal you? I don't really want to heal you, but okay. Never seen such potent healing arts. Thank you so much for taking the time to help an old lady like me. Fancy parfait recipe.
Everything will be
Well,
okay now.
you know, okay.
know
mean,
the
I guess
basics
that
of
works
healing
out.
arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Thank you for the orange gel. Hey, we got a parfait recipe out of it. That's pretty good, right? Can't be too upset about that. Even if it is healing a Renan. Chronos, sorry. Look, this is the first time we're actually seeing Renans that weren't being total dicks, except for Menacia. But even then, that kind of fucking blew up in our faces, kind of. Like, when not most of them, like half of them decided to try to liquefy people, and the other half decided to protect the Dahnans, which was good, which is good. But at the same time, that's like the only time the Renans have been shown, like half the Renans have been shown in a good light. Even here.
Dear me, what an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands.
Good.
Whatever did we do to deserve this?
Oh, I can think of a few things.
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it.
Yeah, welcome to Dahna.
But do my eyes deceive me?
There's no
Could
text
I
there.
really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dahna.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty.
Being the only
details of
lord
which
left
I cannot
alive.
divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now, this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
I mean, technically, he is the winner. He's the only one left
Your
alive.
good wishes do me an honor.
So, yeah. You know, Alphen did most of the work. So, when we fought Voltron, didn't he, like, say he was the Sovereign for a while and the crown contest was just a thing? So who's the Sovereign here?
Your lordship. Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dahna during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember
I
anyone.
mean, she
like
wasn't
that.
really all in red. She had,
I
like,
imagine
black
she'd
leggings,
stand
right?
out somewhat too.
Yeah. What about down on Dahna during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise.
Shionne, grab him.
Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Shionne, grab him. Just, like, run into him. Zzz. Come on, be hilarious. Hi. Yeah, you should probably tell that armored soldier back there that was saying, telling the kids that there's no need to worry about the Zoogle, seeing how they obey our commands. Seeing how they don't obey your commands anymore. 1 second, lady. I'm gonna come down here first. What was that noise? Oh, it was you, healing. You gotta clear that up by the time I finish this conversation over here. Hello, lady.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
You look high.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dahna competing in the
You're pretty
crown
popular,
contest.
Dohalim.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
Good way to skirt around
But
that.
of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
We're not coming back.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
You heard it,
Our lot in
Dohalim. We're
life
not
is
coming
of
back for the
little
peasant.
consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No
think
one
we're gonna
has
go
the
through that
faintest
hallway
idea
and
what's
not come
happened to the
back.
city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah. That one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
Sounds like the Sovereign is actually
Sovereign's
not the
plan.
Sovereign, but like a god.
There is one thing I'm still not sure about.
Alphen, are we
Just
gods?
who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dahna? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought.
I need to go
before.
rewatch that
Here,
Voltron fight
the
again, I
Sovereign's
think.
Total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shionne, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No? Maybe?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
To Rena?
What are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Yeah.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis
Well,
from
maybe
so
he's
far
zooming
away?
in.
What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this...
Yeah, that's that.
At this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Dahnan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Yeah, I just kind
Do
of
you
thought the
think
crown
Volron
contest was a
made
front.
Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
Maybe?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you?
I mean, maybe.
The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there...
Like the
aside
Red
from
Woman,
me-
maybe?
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered, until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dahna, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city.
Yeah, it's right over there.
It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
It's literally right over there. But like, straight up, we're not coming back, so you wait around here all you want.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Dahnan city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
And then we're wasting time.
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed.
Pretty
I'd say we
sure
hold off
she
judgment until we've
is
exhausted
not
every
noticeable by
avenue.
Renans. I think we established that earlier. Or at least she has the ability to not be noticed by Renans if she doesn't want to be, right?
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I
think
do.
it's just this.
It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it. How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Yeah, well,
Now you've got me curious.
yes, you
Is there
gotta
special training
be
for
kind of
that?
sure of yourself, though.
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
I think she's just teasing
What?
you, dog.
They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alphen and Law all of a sudden?
They want friendly
I can
intimidation.
barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Well, it is Elfin-in-law. Anyways. Alright, cool. Let's, I guess, get a cutscene again.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do.
I think they're gonna stand there until they
I
die.
mean, their sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dahna.
And they're dead.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
But you're currently acting as a lord.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Aside from them all being dicks?
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Dahnans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
No, it doesn't, actually.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
I guess, kind of. Maybe, not really.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dahna, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
It was a shame we didn't keep any of their heads. Star Quest Renans and their lords. Okay. To be fair, we weren't able to actually keep, like, frickin' Ballsack's head. He melted. You want to know about which lord I support? Why? Are you out, conversing with someone? Well, I'm with His Excellency, what? Oh, you... Erolze Teldilils? Whatever, you probably know him better as Lord Ballsack. I know a lot of people consider me a giant brute, but believe me, I realize he can be an aggressive man. What those people don't realize is how much he looks after the members of his house. It's fair to say that house, whatever, doesn't enjoy much esteem. Those of us who serve it will be the first to admit that. But His Excellency always stands up against any who would mean us harm. Of that we can be sure. His efforts in the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standings of each and every member of his house. I owe much to His Excellency. I could never dream of serving any other lord. Hey, guess what? He melted after I beat his
Balsaf had it in him to
ass.
care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
But he's dead now. Deservingly so. We're curious to learn more. Oh no, it just repeats the same stuff. Okay, cool beans. Lady, seriously, don't wait around for us to come back. We're not coming back. Unless you give me, like, SP. Hello? Do you have a twin sister over there? Lord Dorhalim, you have returned. And I see you brought aides with you. Do you remember who I am, my lord? Surely you must, yes? Not only do I support Hell's House, whatever your last name is, but more specifically, his lordship personally. So much so, I've been trying. Oh my god, okay, so it's not just me. I've been trying to share my appreciation of his lordship to any who will listen. In fact, I'm planning to publish my extensive writings on the subject through this very terminal for all to read and enjoy. But since the line appears to cut deep due to the recent tumult, I have been unable to upload them. I know, since you're all here, I'll just read them aloud. There exists a most handsome man, a man who radiates beauty, whose every word, every syllable is divine poetry. He hails from the famed house Quasra, and his name is Lord Dorhalim. Music is his passion, the arts his great love. The scores of boorish, uncouth men of this land cannot begin to compare to his magnificence. So refined and majestic is his posture, why, the mere thought of it brings me to ecstasy. Once he becomes our sovereign, Rena shall bloom anew, ushering in an era of prosperity for all for our grand civilization. Until that glorious day comes, I shall ever be praying for his victory, morning, noon, and night. Huff. Well, what do you think, my lord? I poured my whole heart into hoping it capture essence. Wait, I forgot to mention anything about his lordship's love for collecting things. I must take this time while the lines are down to append them. Only then will my masterpiece be complete. So you get a fan club, Dorhalim.
To spread it throughout all of Lenegis, then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What, you don't want to comment about yourself? Alright, next up. Who are you for? I know. I never. To think anyone who tried to tear me away from House Valkyris.
What?
What do you want? Don't tell me you work for Lord Orholm or that dreadful Lord of Meldria too, do you? You don't? Well, don't scare me like that. To answer your question, I come from the family that serves the House Valkyris for generations. Indeed, I'm doing all I can to support Lord Ganabelt behind the scenes so that he might emerge victorious. Many think him to be a cruel man, but I insist they're utterly mistaken. I won't deny he can be strict. He puts Rena's interests front and center like no one else. While he advocates that rather than stay confined to Lenegis, we should go on to colonizing Dahna and expanding our horizon. That way, we'll become masters of both worlds and overturn our current minority status on Dahna's surface. That is why he seeks to become our next sovereign. Tell me, is there a greater, more noble ambition than that? I think not. It is the pursuit of power that for the advancement of all of our kind. It is what makes him an exemplary lord, a model above all others. Though I am unable to accompany him myself, my 2 sons have been blessed with the honor of joining him on the surface. As their father, it fills me with endless pride. Hey, daddy man, your kids are dead probably, and I killed them. Chronos, what?
It was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
No.
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us, Dan?
Because he thought you less than animals. Or actually just animals. You guys don't seem to comprehend the fact that they just think Dahnans are just worthy of being slaves. That's it. They're not important to them. They didn't say anything about other Renans, right? It's not that surprising they had family and shit back here. Who cares though? They were scumbags, and they got what they deserved.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Guys, I don't think you're doing anything. That kid is very dead. That other person that's hunched down like that should probably get up and try helping. Alright, who do you support?
Pardon me.
This area falls under the sole jurisdiction of House Kai Nuris. I must ask you to depart at once. Surely you don't claim to be ignorant of our famed house, ruled over by the esteemed Lord of Meldria? Oh, she did. If so, I urge you to listen well. In fact, I bid you listen carefully regardless. Have you ever noticed how, in the history of Lenegis, only a few women lords have emerged to compete in the House Crown contest? Many have theories of why this might be, but Lord Omidria squashed the doubts of any naysayers through sheer might. In fact, not only did she usurp her father and previous family master, she also removed her older brother to claim the seat for herself. She's a woman who stops at nothing to get what she wants, who gives her enemies nary the slightest opening to strike. True Lord Almeidria is a woman of talent. No one in all Rennet better exemplifies the virtue of our nation's meritocracy. Soon the age of glorious woman sovereign reigning over Lenegis shall be upon us at last. She did! I didn't get the killer. That was Voltron.
Willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Oh, they might be able to see through her now. She got stabbed right through the chest. So there's probably a hold there. We'll be on our way. I just wanted to check you off. Let's check here real fast. There is a lot more to this area. Why are you walking like that? Dog, did you shit your pants? That guy shit his pants. Oop, item. Sheep meat. How did this get here? How long has that been in the corner? It's like, wait a minute. Do you not trust the Sovereign's will? No, I don't. Good, the Zoogles are cut off. There's nowhere to run. It's amazing to see how those of us who are the only weak hearts can still do this. When we all come together, keep it up, team. We'll have these pests taken care of in no time. That child is going to die. Alright, so I'm assuming you're Lord Voltron then?
Ridiculous.
How lonesome. Oh, I was just reading about Voltron. Can I help you?
Okay.
I was always an ardent supporter of Lord Wagil Hildress myself. Were it not for his sudden death down on the surface, I likely still would be. In my eyes, Lord Wigglewoggle is the true Water Lord. I don't believe for a second that he perished in some accident like they say. As for how Voltron runs Ganeth Horus, don't get me started. I hear he enslaves not only Dahnans, but even his fellow Renans. The monster. Enslaving Renans, how dare he? We may live in a society where the victor goes to the spoils, but his actions go against what we as a people stand for. Besides, just what sort of family line is this house Igni-Sari of his anyway? I have never heard of it until he came along, which means they must be among the lowest dregs of society. That such an ignoble lineage could suddenly produce a natural artist capable of ascending to lordship is unheard of. None of it makes any sense, not to mention all of the upheaval around here of late. What is happening to our people?
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised
Why
when the
can't
Lord
I
of
move?
Ganeth Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
I don't think he
On the
cared.
contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
Oh, I'm in a cutscene. Okay.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, of course.
Despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
No.
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either.
Yes, they fucking were.
Individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess...
They were all monsters.
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Who were monsters?
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Not at all.
Every one of you was wrong.
Make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one.
Well,
think
that's
something
somewhat
we've all
true.
seen.
We've yet to see too many examples of the second part of that sentence.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure
We have
I earn that
3
trust.
examples.
As a fellow
Dohalim,
human being
Shionne.
above all else.
I don't know why I said Shionne like that. And that dude that's dating a Dahnan slave. Those are the 3 examples of Renans that aren't complete shitbags. What about all these people, Chronos? They're all shitbags. What about that child, Chronos? I don't know. Haven't talked to him. Probably a shitbag, though. But that's how we were raised. I don't care. Like, just because you were raised to do horrible shit doesn't excuse you doing horrible shit. Like, straight up. Not like, I was actually hoping we would come to this place and fucking, they would be like, what are you talking about? What's slavery? Or something like that. Like, or even not here. We would get to like Rena, but who knows if we're even going to get to that place from what Dolan was just saying that no one, we'll probably go to there, but it's probably going to be like, it's probably not going to be a civilization, right? From what Dolan was saying, how like no one's fucking been to, from Lenegis has been to Rena. There's going to be some fuckery going on there. Are you alright, Shionne? But anyways, yeah, it's like, that guy's totally shit his pants. I kind of gave up expecting them to actually portray Renans in somewhat of a humane, actual, not horrible group of people at some point. I started this game thinking that we were going to get like halfway through this game and we were going to find out that not all Renans were, you know, shitbags. But no, we have actually come to the part of the game where every Renan, except for the 3 fuckers that we know, and like the ones in Menacea that have grown to accept Dahnans of actual living, you know, people, they're all fucking disgusting people for the most part. They're just monsters. That's what this game has taught me. There's like, and every time the group's like, oh, but you know, it's not like that. No, it is. It actually is. They're all fucking monsters, apparently. Like, you cannot view someone going to a different place, enslaving others, and having no regard. Like, if there was just like half of these people, fuck, if you want to do reality sake, if there was like a north part of Rena that was like, hey, we're against slavery, and a south part of Rena that was like, hey, we're fucking pieces of shit slavers, then fucking, I would probably be more inclined to be like, okay, they're not all bad. But everyone seems to be, yeah, fucking Dahnans are worth being slaves and that's it. And they even have their own little class system here where it's like, if you're weak at arts, you're not that great. You're still better than the, you know, the Dahnans. They're barely worth keeping alive other than like resources. That's it. That's all we've gotten so far. For me, it might be different for everyone else that's playing it or watching it, but yeah, holy shit. I guess that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Have a great day.